Hey, it's your poker guy, and I am back with another podcast. And Aj, someone I have is who's coming with 18 plus years of experience with brands. He's been associated with poker for a long time. And though you might not recognize him, आपने player hunt पे उन्हें देखा होगा. And वो जो एक लाए कही थी उन्होंने कि half Indian and half Russian. तो उसके बारे में आज बात करेंगे. And we're also going to ask him a few questions that he's got very unique concepts कि poker के बारे में उनके mind में अलग अलग concepts चलते रहते हैं. So we're going to discuss that. He's a South Mumbai lad and very soon starting his own company related to poker. He's going to call it FeltRight. So ये सब आने वाला है आज के podcast में. Thank you so much, Mihir, for taking time out and let's go.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you so much for inviting me for your show. I've been following you on Instagram and I think you create some really good content.
Thank you so much.
It's kind of the need of the hour. So it's brilliant, buddy, what you're doing.
Awesome. This is not fixed and planned. Thank you so much. But let's address the elephant in the room. Half Indian, half Russian का वो कैसे आया था प्लेयर हंट में जिसको नहीं पता I'm going to put up a छोटू. What was that lie all about?
It was just very impromptu, and I kind of got a call from Poker High a few days before this shoot, and it was very last minute. There was nothing planned, and we were just having good time at this at the shoot. That's what the whole thing was, and they put us into a situation. And I'm like, let me just try this lie and see what I think.
चलो सही है. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
Let's dive into where are you today with poker as a poker player before we move into all the concepts you have in mind. What do you do in poker right now in terms of playing? Are you like an active player, professional player? What if you're comfortable? What percentage of your monthly income is from poker? How much of a poker person are you? I just want to understand. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm definitely a player who's kind of evolving with the game. I've always been a live cash game player
Oh, okay.
all my career. So I think there's a major shift in my gaming environment because obviously for the pandemic and we missed the game, we missed the action. We couldn't do any live sessions anymore for the obvious reasons. And I try to take a deep dive in the online space of poker. And I've troubled a lot of players, by the way. I've troubled Abhishek Kowandi a lot. I keep troubling Ashish Ahuja a lot. Like, boss, give me tips, give me ideas. And I think these boys have been like so peaceful and like so helpful at the same time. They've been patient with me and, they've given me all the backup and information, knowledge. And then we had Mr. Farah Zaka, who gave out a lot of a lot of free sessions. So wherever I could find a lot of online information to make my game better. And it kept evolving. I had a few deep runs, a few good scores, sorry. And one thing just led to the other. Now I'm just trying to like play about 4 to 5 times a week, probably 3 times a week. But given the fact that I'm starting up a new company on poker, that's kind of eating a little bit of my time. So as and when I do try to contribute wherever I can in terms of playing online. Am I a profitable player yet? Yes, at certain websites I am. But yeah, a lot of websites are just spewing a lot of money. And yes, I need to figure out how to get off my tilt very soon.
Got it. Perfect. So you're like among one of us only who is just KR. Maybe I want to give some time to it, but I just come back to poker all the time. It's one of those X's you just can never forget. You just go back all the time. So yeah, let's go to this thing. What I want to know is you have been associated with poker since a long time and you've done a lot of events with your first company. आपकी first company थी Green Room.
That's
And
right.
and you up event management करते थे and you all used to conduct mega events of the poker world, be it your IPC या फिर आपका PSL Poker Sports League के events हुए हैं. So how did that start happening? कैसे आपको वो contracts मिले? And not कैसे वो contracts मिले. I mean more about how did you get into the poker world and what were you exactly doing that time?
I mean, poker started off way back in our college days. So our friends used to come down from university from America and they kind of introduced to the whole idea of poker. But that time, poker for me was just like Diwali nights sort of a situation. I was completely in the events and the brand space post that, and I've been around it still till now. And I got a call from this gentleman, which I think everybody knows is Mr. Manish Atnani. who is used to head the Dalton Poker vertical.
Correct.
And I think whatever I've learned, whatever I've understood about the fraternity at large, it's a lot of exposure's been come through thanks to Manish Nani there. So I kind of get a call one fine day, and this was for Dalton Poker tournament. I think it was about 2015 or 2014, one of the years. I'm not too sure, but that was my first poker event that I executed,
Got it.
and I was kind of awestruck, to be very honest, with seeing that audience in 2014 with so many players at the Delta Royale. It just made me feel that I'm in a whole new world and this is exciting. And one thing led to the other. And, as we kept doing events like DPT, we had WPT, we had IPC. I was a part of Poker Sports League also, where my event company was hired. One thing just led to the other, and we kind of, as an event agency, our focus started on minute details of making sure the player experience is always becoming better by the day. Say it in form of registration, say it in form of the overall venue lighting, or even the F&B that's served to the players. So, I mean, we got in such small details of the game to kind of elevate the whole experience of the players. And been very fortunate, been very grateful to people like Delta Corp, to give me the opportunity. Manish Adani gave me the opportunity to be around the fraternity for a very long time. I think we managed about like 5 or 6 Delta DPTs, 4 WPTs, Poker Sports League, the 2 years.
Wow.
We had IPC, which I've handled for 2 years. Um, I think the last 5, 6 years, as the way I see poker and the way the arrangements of tournaments were happened, it in fact got my interest. I started loving the sport. In fact, I met some very great people, and I think poker world has some really amazing people. And one thing just led to the other. There's a lot of games happening. We kind of executed the shows. Um, One of my favorite experiences were my first one, which was DPT, the Delta Poker Tournament. Um, we always trying to create new designs, concepts for the final table zone,
Right.
and the best part is like they were very supportive. I must give a lot of credit to the website owners and the operators. Say it Delta Corp, say it Spartan, that's Amin Rosani. If I had to go up to Amin Rosani and say, "Okay, listen, I want to do this for IPC. I want to get a curved LED wall so that the dynamics and feel of the stage becomes more better. It's going to cost you more, but I mean, like, you take the call, you call the shots, just make sure I have a top product, and my players
Wow.
have a brilliant time." So that kind of working with such people in such environment, it just kind of helps us as event managers to put the best out for the players, basically, in terms of the experience. And
Awesome.
yeah.
Nice, nice. And I think that is what got your interest as well into the entire game. Because before this, were you playing poker? Ke itna nahi tha.
So I mean, while being in Goa, you're actually hanging out with the Sachins and the Virats
Virat
and the
Kohli's.
Kohlis of the poker world.
Huh.
And I used to hang out with these boys as after parties, day two ke pehle, when the day one goes down, everybody's meeting up at either Manish's house, either at the Delta Suites, or so on. And I didn't even know what pot odds were and three bet and how to bluff. But when these boys started talking, I started grasping all the information. I went to this
First
website.
hand.
Yeah. So, and I mean, imagine like people like Dhaval Mudgal and Kunal
Yeah.
Patni discussing poker, and we have Abhinav Iyer and all the other big boys also in the same room and discussing poker. Aditya Sushan. I mean, there's so many other names. Abhishek Govandi.
Yeah,
All
you're
these.
just throwing in all the top names. Yeah, you're throwing in the top 11. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I just hung out with these boys. We just like had a good time over drinks, discussed poker, and one thing just led to the other, and it was it caught my interest as towards the game, and I'm saying, okay, this game is actually full of skill, and
Yeah.
the more you get educated, the more better you're going to get, and you need to put all your education to the fells and see how good or bad you are. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. ठीक है. So आपने खुद की कोई IP बनाई है? Have you created any own IP? Like, because you've done a lot of events, have you thought ऐसा कि I want to create my own asset in the poker world? Has that ever come to your mind?
I created one for Spartan, which was poker for people.
Okay.
And it was a very beautiful concept where we got all the corporate big wiggies, the CEOs, the managing directors, and the big boys of the corporate sector to come and play a free roll of 25 lakh rupees. And we had a very, very overwhelming response. We associated with CNBC for the property. I got the venture. I kind of got the tie-up done between Spartan and CNBC to pull off poker for people. That's one of the IPs. Yes, I am currently working on my own IPs, but I won't be sharing much details right on this podcast.
पॉडकास्ट
But
टू पार्ट टू पे अपन डिस्कस करेंगे वो ठीक है
जी,
Okay, so when I spoke to you offline, I just realized कि आपके पास overall poker world का ही बहुत knowledge है. Like you said, you hung out with be it the Amin Ruzanis or the Abhinav Iyer or the Aditya Sushant, so whoever in the poker world and interacted. So you have a lot of idea about how industry कैसे चल रही है क्या है. So मुझे थोड़े broader topics पे बात करना था. More
sure.
and I want to talk from different angles. एक बात करते हैं अपन from the brand side, like how the operators operate. Then I want to talk from the player perspective also. So
Sure.
let's start with the B2B side. Okay, all the brands के बारे में. Let's go to the point. What's wrong
Yeah.
with poker marketing today? What's wrong with marketing happening in poker today? Yeah,
I'm going to be very opinionated about my mindset as far as the marketing is concerned. I think it's not changed in the last 10 years.
right.
I've literally seen, I don't know what is this whole obsession with poker websites being like 5 crore, 10 crore, 20 crore. But I just feel that is like, Fata poster Nikla hero. They're trying to like, do it like the Bollywood style. But listen, it's a mind sport. Do you see like a Sachin Tendulkar, dancing with cheerleaders? You don't, because he's a class act sport person, and that's how you need to treat this mind sport too. Um, there are a lot of questionable marketing gimmicks, if I may put it in that way, or marketing strategies to be more politically correct, if I want to put it that way. I mean, all due respect to the companies hiring celebrities or endorsing celebrities for brand endorsements for promoting the sites. It's kind of it's questionable because I don't know how much does it really help in the real situation. I don't think a poker player is going to really get excited seeing Shahid Kapoor on a page because I don't think the Shahid Kapoor or the particular website or any other big star endorse is going to help them build their bankroll to start with. And I feel that the kind of budgets that are spent on these big celebrities, the big stars for endorsements, could be kind of used in a much better space, which I'll get to at some point of this podcast, how we can probably maximize the whole situation.
Got it. So your first point is saying that matlab yaar, the way it's being marketed has not changed and it's only you're showing the crores कि ये series 10 crore का ये series 15 crore का है.
Yeah.
And the second is the way it's being marketed is it's always having a star ka photo and the 10 crores 15 crores with it, and that's the way it has been around. And you're saying
Yeah.
it's not sustainable even for the new
No,
players
I
who are
don't
coming.
think that's a very sustainable thing for a very simple thought. I see this as, जब अपना on a street, जब रास्ता खुदता है, those civil workers come and they put that little mitti and they cover the road. I think that's a similar situation what brands are facing. They get these big stars, they'll use new players for new logins and new sign-ins. And the player's probably going to exit between a month or 2 months phase because he doesn't know the game. He's going to start blaming the sport. He's going to start blaming the website. Ki, bhai, ye to rigged hai, ye hai, wo hai. But the fact of the hour is that, listen,
Education is needed on
education, if you want players to be sustaining, you want actually focus, real poker players coming out of the country, I think education is the backbone of it and awareness of the game and what are the vices involved, as far as poker is concerned. So it's very, very important for especially a teenager to understand, or somebody who's just got into the game needs to understand and learn the game better. But I don't think the websites are spending enough time or taking enough efforts. Their main focus is getting new logins, getting them to put in that 5,000 rupees. Let's make rake. We don't care whether he loses, not loses. And the next thing you see on IPA or the Indian Poker Player Association or the TPP, the groups, some guy every morning is writing, oh ये इधर बैट पीटे इधर ये collusion है ये boss collusion नहीं है तुझे खेलना नहीं आता है bro, you got misjudged by the marketing, you got into the website, you paid that 5,000 rupees, now you're sulking online,
losing that money. Fair enough.
exactly.
हैंड होल्डिंग नहीं है आपके पास, हैंड होल्डिंग नहीं है कि आपको कहां से गाइड करना है फ्रॉम वेयर टू वेयर व्हाट टू एक्सपेक्ट, वही नहीं है. आपको 5 करोड़ देखा है आपने.
I think
What are the sorry, if I cut you, anything you if you have anything please go on.
No, please. No, I was just going
Okay,
to add this point.
I just want to say what. So from what research I've done and spoken to people, they say poker is at about 4 million, 6 million users total registered. Of course, active might be lesser. So that's
Yes.
40, 50 lakh. And Rummy is at 6 crores and fantasy cricket is at 13 crores. I think a lot more than that. So
Right.
what do you think is the new way of marketing? Like okay, I get it, but yeah, if you sell it as education, who wants to see? I mean, it's not exciting. I would love to rather see Shahid Kapoor saying, "Ke boss, poker खेल लो," rather than if it's a new person. I'm just wondering, if
Right.
it's someone new and we're talking about tier two cities as well and tier three, what's going to excite them to see that okay यार पढ़ाई करके मैं एक वे कर सकता हूँ पैसे कमाने का, वो तो मैं ऐसे भी पढ़ाई कर रहा हूँ एमबीए की ट्राई कर ही रहा हूँ, so I'm just wondering what are the new techniques in your head which you think will work better for poker marketing.
See, there is no shortcut. If you're not going to study, you're not going to see results. I don't think anybody from Poker Bootcamp will agree to this because I tell you what, I've seen how Abhishek Gondi trains his students, and every student is. I'm seeing their posts on Instagram.
Crazy, yeah.
Everybody's in the six figures back to back, week after week. And as Phil Elmuth put a very had a great saying that if it was about luck, I would be winning every day. Right. So, I mean, this is an absolute game of skill. And I'm a person who totally believes that education is the key forward, is a way forward to see key players grow in India, in India, as make the field uh, more competitive. There are currently a lot of whales and too many fishes also. So there has to be a fine balance between both, in a way.
Fair
But
enough.
there's certain things that I would want to like see adapt in the market as far as poker is concerned. Besides the celebrities coming in, yes, it's so surprising that today, if I want to learn any particular topic or any other fraternity, I have multiple languages. And being India, being such a diversified country with multi languages, I've never seen any website create training videos in different regional languages. And just to give an example, I got really inspired by this boy called Rahul, who I met at the Player Hunt. Boys from Patna, and uh, his hunger for knowledge was so deep. He wanted to learn everything every minute of his hour. And so is this guy called Kamal. Kamal's also like hungry to play, hungry for information. And I think if there would be spaces where poker is explained in various languages, there could be a situation where we could have more responsible gaming. And if you can spend crores on endorsing a celebrity, I think you can spend a few lakhs getting these videos done from a good advertising company at the end of the day. So, yeah.
I completely agree. That is one thing. I think you also spoke about a lot of BTL activities. So that is something which, yeah, if you would want to emphasize on. And what is BTL also for the crowd? If it's
So BTL is below the line activation,
right.
the way we see it in our corporate world. It's a very one-on-one interaction with the end user. I think that's where there's a major disconnect with brands. They've focused more on the billboards and they focus more on digital advertising. There is not I've never seen or heard from any of my South Bombay friends or people from Bombay that I know that, hey, listen, this website did reach out to me, to probably come for a bar night where there's a poker gathering. I mean, the focus is there's a lack of community gathering as what the website should be actually the forefront heroes to get the community together. And it's just not about the game or seeing players on the felts nonstop, but having an odd day, probably a Monday or Tuesday, organizing a good bar night where players are coming, speaking about the experiences, speaking about the games, and kind of encouraging the community in that format. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think that's
So
kind of a missing gap. It like today, if I like golf, I like cricket, there'll be 10 seminars that I can go attend and network with my
और
golf.
कोई भी गली में भी क्रिकेट खेल सकते हो कोई ना कोई मिल ही जाएगा
Absolutely.
जो खेल रहा है करेक्ट राइट राइट
Yeah. So I think that's what's missing. And I'm surprised at why poker websites are not accounted for this because there is a very limited brand to consumer customer relationship. And I think that's something that really need to focus on their strengths and deviate some attention towards that department. It's kind of going to be good for them and build a good rapport with the players. I rather do it with 100 players rather spending lakhs of rupees trying to reach out 5 lakh players. If I have those 100 players who start trusting and building in that one-on-one interaction, they're going to be around for a while on the side.
एब्सोल्युटली एंड मतलब गाइस बीटीएल का ये मतलब है कि ही सेइंग कि आप क्यों ना अपन जैसे अभी आई थिंक सब एमबीए स्कूल्स है या फिर आप बड़े जो क्लब्स होते हैं जहां आपके मे बी सपोज एवरेज एज ऑफ अप टू 50 हो एंड यू गेट रिच पीपल हु आर क्लब के मेंबर्स है, why aren't we organizing events there जहां we can acquire more and more people, so
Yeah.
direct one to one पहुंच के. So I think I completely agree, मतलब absolutely सही
Yeah.
है. Yeah, perfect. No, I completely resonate to the fact. Like when I want to grow my community, also I think from that BTL perspective only. Ke yaar, if I just go to and we meet so many people, if we just end up meeting one by one, also such people, I think the community will
Yeah.
grow eventually.
True. True that, bro. True that.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about poker players now. So that's your like entire opinion on marketing and the way growth should happen for poker B2B side. अभी अपन
Right.
players की बात करते हैं जो current है, current
Right.
exist करते हैं.
Right.
क्या व्हाट विल इट टेक, क्या लगेगा ताकि एक विराट कोहली निकले, एक नेशनल आइकन निकले पोकर से? व्हाट डू यू थिंक लगेगा कि यार सब लोग लुक फॉरवर्ड करें इसको, बिकॉज इट्स टू फार, राइट? राइट नाउ स्पोर्ट ही इतना बड़ा नहीं है, बट व्हाट डू यू थिंक इट विल टेक टू गेट अ नेशनल आइकॉन, समवन लुक्स अप टू दैट प्लेयर?
I think what the need of the hour is a talent management company for the poker players. Uh, Players are great with their game, but I'm not too sure how good their skills with social media are. And
Okay.
and I think they need to focus on where they are, which is their game. Given the long grind hours. So I think that's what the poker players need to focus their energies on. And what, just for the record, we're starting off a company called FeltRight LLP, and that's going to be purely focusing on talent management, where we are reaching out to players in the market, where we will be acquiring those talents to be a part of our company. We'll be spending about 3 to 4 months shaping their social media imaging, their content, and basically build it to a point where I can introduce them to brands as a mind sport player. So, I mean, currently I feel that there is a lot of work that needs to be done on the social media front, especially like for the big boys who are doing fantastically well, the new age guys who want to look at endorsement opportunity. I'm not saying that India has reached this point where they would get endorsements like how other sports persons would do. It's not like the crores getting signed up immediately in year one, but we need to start somewhere as a community.
Sure.
And for me, I feel that today, even if I can manage to get a 25,000 rupee endorsement or even a 1 lakh rupee endorsement for the player, I think it's a great bankroll boost for especially somebody who's trying to be a semi pro or a full time pro. And it also kind of creates a legitimacy for the poker player in terms of getting associated with the corporate world, which already is known for its white collar behaviors. So, yeah, as we know, poker is slightly still taboo in India. It's still
Sure.
taken as gambling. It's still being taken. So I think by the involvement of the corporate world in terms of having the players endorsed in talent management fields, it'll work wonders. So my focus is that I'm probably going to look up to pick up about 20 boys, 20 players, boys, girls, whoever it is from the market, from the player pool, and uh, handle the imaging in terms of social media, the PR opportunities to relate with brands. Because I think a lot of poker players are, besides being great poker players, they're also great speakers. They also have great personalities, which can be sort of involved in different formats of marketing for the corporate world too.
इंटरेस्टिंग.
So
आई थिंक थिंकिंग ऑफ इट दैट वे इज नाइस, बिकॉज अब तक जो देखा है, बीट निकिता लूथर और जारवान और से कुणाल पटनी फॉर अड्डा, इट्स ऑलवेज
yeah,
बिन पोकर साइट्स जो ये प्लेयर्स को अपने एम्बेसडर बना देती है. बट जो आप बोल रहे हो कि आई वांट, व्हाई नॉट कॉर्पोरेट कंपनी स्टार्टिंग टू गेट देम ऑन बोर्ड, या फिर
yeah,
why not even in terms of influencer marketing, why not someone beyond a poker company getting them on board to kind of sign up for their product or this thing in terms of money, which is yeah, पूरा ब्रांड बनेगा पोकर प्लेयर का, एक ये होएगा ना, ऑफ कोर्स, एंड प्लस इट्स एन एक्स्ट्रा एडेड इनकम, लेजिटिमेसी, एवरीथिंग सेट्स अप. मुझे बताओ,
yeah.
व्हाट इज एन आइडियल इमेज ऑफ अ पोकर प्लेयर फॉर यू? क्या होगा आइडियल इमेज?
I think the content management needs to be shaped up a lot, and they need, uh, I would say, in a way, speak about poker more as a sport than something which is flamboyant. I see a lot of poker players, posting, "Oh, I won this big pot and that pot." I'm like, nobody gives a shit, bro. I mean, I've literally picked up my phone and I'm doing, bro, tu kar kya raha hai? I mean, I'm a friend. I'm giving you right advice. Don't do this. It's not fair. And I'm not going to mention a player's name. He recently put up something on Instagram, a full-fledged shoot with a whiskey glass and throwing coins and chips and cards like that. And I immediately picked up a phone because I'm a well-wisher. And I told him, bro, you're a very senior player. What impression are you going to keep by putting a whiskey glass on your table?
Sure.
That's not a sport. Do you see, like, if somebody like a Ronaldo or is moving the Pepsi thing off a conference when he was, I think that took a lot of popularity on the internet where
Yeah, $4
I think
billion
Ronaldo,
wiped out of Pepsi as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I'm like, it doesn't make sense. People, you are a very senior guy, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of young guys have seen you playing in the big league games, and you're sitting here on Instagram with like James Bond look with your whiskey and tossing coins like that. Like, how cliche is that? I'm like, is
Correct.
that what your idea of content development for poker is? And
Mm,
boss, you need to recheck your facts a little bit. So, I
correct.
mean, he instantly agreed to me, like, bro, you're right. I mean, I didn't realize this. I just kind of went with the whole bandwagon of what other people were doing, and I created a video sort of myself. But having said that, players need to work on their content. They really, really need to work on their content desperately. And we hopefully, they sign up with the company very soon, and we take over their accounts and kind of give it more a legitimate look. And to be very honest, we were very close on signing up a very, very big endorsement deal for two poker players, but sadly the pandemic kicked in.
Oh,
So that was in 2019. I was really on the verge of signing somebody for a 10 lakh rupee endorsement, and that would have been like the biggest endorsement deal for a poker player from a
100%.
brand.
सो
As
अभी
far
अगर
as
आपको कुछ कमी पड़े तो एक इंस्टाग्राम पे चैनल है योर पोकर गाय को भी दिया करो यार. So perfect.
yeah, sure. I'm going to sign you, man. I'm definitely going to look forward to signing you on FeltRight. So we came up with this company called FeltRight.
I'm going to come to that. I'm going to come to that. Before
Yeah.
that, I want to know if in India's domain right now, you feel कोई है ऐसे maybe 5-10 players who you think यार I really want to get them on board and I think they have it in them जिसके थ्रू अपन एक icon बना सकते हैं पोकर का. Who do you think are those 5-10 good people? Whoever you can name on top of your head.
10 is a very less number, to be honest, because this field is so talented and so many great players. I mean, just to bounce out a few names: Aditya Sushant, Abhinavaya, Nikita Luther, um, Sarvan, how could I forget him? Kunal Patni. There's so many, there's just so many, and all of them, Ashish Ahuja for that. There's Eka, who's been slightly off the scene, but he's a great player. I've seen him in action. Uh, there are quite a few names. There are quite a few names that come.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Names,
It's all
and
the
I think they
top.
all need a little bit of social media help, and at some point. So yeah, I think these boys are definitely up to get endorsed with brands, and I would love to manage them. I mean, I am in a semi conversation with them right now. That I just got my company registered, so which we'll speak about at some point of this podcast too. But these are the names that immediately like hit my head that these people should be a part of my company where I can help them develop themselves as brands. Like somebody like Nikita Luther is such a senior player, and uh, she has a great personality. She's great at the game. Kunal Patni, Dhaval Mutkal, all these guys are great, great, and even the newcomers. Like just to give you a few good names, is Himanshu. Uh, uh, uh,
Yeah,
Himanshu's a top boy, and he just was on the final table of the Delta Poker Tournament High
high
Roller.
roller Himanshu Chikara.
Uh,
That's right.
so he's doing fantastically. There are a lot of upcoming talents. There is upcoming talents. There is Kamal. There is
Sama is doing
Anshu.
really well. Sama is doing awesome.
There's Rahul. There's Harshdev. All these boys are like doing fantastically, phenomenally well for themselves. Lashpal, I mean, the guy is like, I don't know, on absolute rage, or he's just on every final table. He's just been raking in. So I just feel these boys had again an opportunity to kind of shape them up in terms of the brand management aspect and as a talent. These guys could be probably free rolling all the main events for international main events if they see how brand endorsements will help them get that extra money. Uh,
I really
and
like
then
this idea. Like, I mean, it's a very nice thought in the poker domain, because you see कि कोई sport में excel कर रहा है, and they're no one till some time, and then suddenly after one major win, and suddenly everyone really wants them, and you kind of have a track that they're already proven, like in this sport they're already doing so well in the
undoubtedly,
country. So how do we not? Why are the brands not associated? Like जो भी influencers है, you see top content creators, they all have a business entity who's managing them, or maybe cricketers के पास वो cornerstone agency है which manages say a Virat Kohli or
Yeah.
say all these top cricketers. So it's a
Yeah.
very unique idea that you've got there. I think it in terms of why not being there for sure.
And this is
Nice.
the near future, bro. This is definitely the near future. And like, give this company another 3 to 6 months to shape these boys. And yeah, I'm pretty confident that a lot of brands will endorse these players. And it's going to be a great future for the game in India for sure, and the players for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely, and there's so much opportunity, right? कि यही player जब suppose Cambodia जाएगा and he's wearing that company's jacket, and there's so many opportunities available. Bang on, I think you've got a winner there for sure. But we're
Yeah,
going
I
to come to
mean,
that. I
yes,
want to talk so much about FeltRight. It's a very nice idea. उसके पहले let's talk about the poker culture in India. मैंने कहा कि कहीं ना कहीं जैसा आपने कहा कि वो बंदा अगर अल्कोहल लेके बैठा है, वो अगर ऐसे कर रहा है, और आपके माइंड में अभी भी एवरेज आदमी के माइंड में आ रहा है कि वो पान खाने वाला जो टेबल पे अब्यूज करते हैं, पोकर वो सब है, वे इट्स लाइक कि वो
yeah.
गोल्ड चेन पहन के बैठा हुआ है, और मतलब बेटा तू इस सबसे दूर ही रहे. सो व्हेन दैट एंटायर इमेजिंग needs a massive makeover, is it?
I mean, see, you're going to find all weird people, in different forms of life. But that's not my focus. My focus is like players who know the game, they know where they are heading towards with their bankroll. That's the players we want to develop because they understand the seriousness of the game. I mean, I've seen this industry where there are these big whales also coming and playing on the fair spit. The knowledge of the game is pretty minimal, if I may say. It's these guys just don't hold the top pairs, and then they're kind of sulking out around the river by the
Right.
pros. You know what I mean? And then they put the thing, कि आप lucky हो गए. I'm like, sir, हम lucky नहीं हुए. And they have this thing, like I've seen this, and I kind of gave it back. I want to share this incident. I was in one of the casinos in Goa, and this guy goes JMD, that religious way of saying, and going all
Jai
in.
Mata Di all in. Yeah.
So I'm like, bro, आप कर दो ऑल इन बोल के जय माता दी स्नैप कॉल करेंगे अगर साथ में हो गया इक्विटी.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Like, I believe in skills, you believe in God. I mean, no disrespect there, but I think you need to understand, like, if you imagine, like, one of the cricketers before hitting the sixer is like, oh God, give me a sixer. It's not. He's talented to hit that lofted
Fair
shot.
enough.
That's why he's getting that result.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. There's no doubt
it's
about
kind
it.
of weird, like how people just relate God to the game. And he's kissing everything, his neck piece and puck, and inside. I'm like, bro, मेरा सेट है आपका टॉप
मेरा
पे
से
है.
यहाँ कुछ नहीं हो पाएगा.
बोला सर आपका ये हालत में तो आपका बैंक लोन आज तो
खत्म होने वाला है. Fair enough.
खत्म होने वाला है. Yeah.
Let's come to felt right here. When you told me about this offline, I was very excited about it, and I kind of I really liked the concept. तो
Yeah.
क्या है फेल्ट राइट का? आपने जिस्ट अभी बताया है कि आप एक डिवीजन है टैलेंट मैनेजमेंट का, वह आपको पोकर प्लेयर्स को मैनेज करना है, उनकी इमेजिंग से लेके उनका सोशल मीडिया, ताकि उनको ब्रांड डील्स आ सके. व्हाट एल्स इज फेल्ट राइट डूइंग? एंड फेल्ट राइट का नाम का मीनिंग क्यों फेल्ट राइट है वो भी बताओ. आई रियली लाइक दैट एज वेल. सो व्हाई
Sure.
फेल्ट राइट? या
So we play poker on the felts.
दैट्स राइट.
And so that's where the first word felt comes on, and the decision felt right, so it's called felt right. Yeah, and that's the idea with felt right was, to form this whole talent management company. We basically are going to have three verticals in the company. The first vertical is going to be the talent management division of handling poker players in India and getting them endorsement deals and shaping up their entire image as poker players, even handling their subcontracts with their existing websites or deals that needs to go through the websites. Because I feel like in India now there are a lot of websites coming up, say the new players in the market, say MPL or say GameZ. There's a lot of new players coming in the market, so I think these guys need my help to get the right player association done. The other division for FeltRight is something which is like my own passion project. And it came out of absolute desperateness of not finding the right funny t-shirt to wear on
अच्छा.
the poker table. So we're coming up with an entire poker clothing range for the poker players in terms of we're going to have t-shirts, hoodies, fridge magnets, stickers for the laptops. It's going to be a very fun website where it's going to breathe poker. We are trying to customize some high-end equipment. This division, we kind of tied up with a few interior designers also in the market.
Wow.
So very where we wanted to get into the houses of people to make sure that they have a pro gaming environment in terms of the interiors, and we come into play where we get them the right equipment, the right ambience for their gaming environment. So we sort of interior slash gaming experts or in gaming interiors. So that's
Very
one thing.
interesting, huh?
Yeah, I think it's a need of the hour because if you're saying this industry grows so big and players taking the right, spending lots and lots of time in front of the screen and lots of time in their gaming dens, they're literally on the hibernation mode. You see them if a series चलती है तो आपको 12 दिन तो बंदा दिखने वाला नहीं
Correct, correct, correct.
है. I mean, I feel that today, if your environment is right, your output as a player is going to be much better.
Correct.
So people who understand this, the clothing aspect in terms of the poker players, I was kind of missing out on the whole fact there's no funny T-shirt available in the market. Like I went on Amazon and I typed in poker T-shirt, and the only thing I found was like, I don't even fold my laundry. And I'm like,
Wow.
God, it's one of the most cheesiest line. It's like one of those guys who trying to have zero flirting skills, and he's like,
ये
क्या
पिकअप लाइन यूज कर रहा है.
yeah,
With
क्या
हाँ.
bomb होगा कि आपका बाप terrorist or something like that. One of those really cheaper one-liners that you hit on chicks. I felt those T-shirts were like that, and I'm like, dude, my servant wouldn't. I mean, my house help wouldn't wear this. Like my security guard wouldn't wear a T-shirt like this.
Correct, correct, correct.
And I feel that today, वो थोड़ा एक need of the hour था, जो missing gaps. So we came up with a beautiful collection of very detailed graphics. So we have 3 collections launching this time. First is called Table Talk. The other is called Suited Connectors, and the third one is basically for the high rollers. That's very high definition designs. We've kind of collaborated with a few international designers and a few domestic ones to help us churn out some great poker illustrations. And we are creating a top of the line merchandise and clothing lineup for the poker players.
Interesting. And
Yeah.
are you also going to customize t-shirts for people? कि नहीं, this is like your own clothing line. जो है, that is the one.
We would be reaching out to websites very soon because I think they need to up their game as far as the gifting options are concerned to poker players. They really need to revamp that a little bit. So I think this should be a good route. So just to give you an example, when earlier days when we used to go to Archie's to buy these gift cards, in college days, and we had this thing where there's a small glass and there was a cigarette inside, and it's in case of emergency break glass, and there was a cigarette inside. So we kind of changed that, and I put 2 pocket aces inside, and I said, in case of tilt, break glass.
Ah, interesting.
So I think it could be a good thing. You could just put a tournament ticket inside, or some players really had like a rough time just going through heavy variants. Just send him that gift. He's going to love you for the rest of their life. He's going to keep it on his
Interesting.
desktop. So I think these, just to enhance the whole feeling of poker, we've come across with these really cool design gifts also. Yeah.
But अच्छा यार, so ये दूसरा division हो गया, and you're building that entire experience. I'm seeing the way you're talking is image management से लेके interior से लेके, then what is actually you're wearing to what you're actually having on your table is the entire ecosystem is where it's going to be like what FeltRight is working on. And the third division that you spoke of is something in the content space, is what I kind of understand.
Yes. So we are working on a very beta version app called Pokenomics, which is the economics of poker, where we want to forward information to players about how to optimize the bankroll management, the daily budgets of the game, pro tips coming from faculty players, the experts from the industry. The app will be recognized a lot by the corporate world also, and the idea is to provide as much information which is currently kind of is available, but it's available in bits and
Structure
pieces.
करना है.
It's not structured.
Yeah.
So it's something which is on my radar, and something which we're working on. So we already have a beta version of the app that we're working on, and hopefully we're going to take it to the market by Jan end. Yes.
Wow. And is this like all one-man show by Mihir, or are you having like any poker players from the industry who are actually guiding you with this, or how is that entire piece coming along?
Guidance, yes. I mean, the players who I've shared my thoughts with, the pro league boys, and yes, there have been times where I had to go for advice to them, and yeah, there are boys involved. But as a partner, I have a friend of mine who's an angel investor who's backed me up with the entire project as of right now. But there's no other partner per se from the poker community with me.
Sure. Okay.
There's a lot of support, yes. There's a lot of support from the boys here.
Awesome. So I think we've covered like today quite a bit of things, be it the B2B side, marketing, poker players. I love FeltRight ki baat hui. Uh, just before we end it, I want to kind of have this last question in. What's in store? Where are you driving poker? What's happening in the next, say, 6 months? Next 3 to 6 months, mein, what is Mihir bringing to the table for poker? Like, what is something which is going to happen?
Um, Definitely my website for clothing lineup to start with. I trying to work on some new IPs. I would love to see like a whole reality show, like on poker. So these were ideas which were bounced out a lot of websites in the past. Like I pitched ideas, but sadly the budgets and the visions didn't really match back then. So I think I'm just going to take it up to me and go in the corporate world, raise my money from there, and create some IPs in the next 6 months to a year. That's definitely on the cards. Um, yeah, I want to see poker communities. I want to see like probably how you probably be a Gymkhana member and you have a card. Why can't we have it for the poker community? As a poker player, you
Wow.
know, uh, like if there are community, and I'm a strong believer that if you build a community, you'll see better results.
Sure.
I think the websites need to break the stereotype thinking of rake and rake backs. The thought processes don't evolve more than rake and rake backs. You know what I mean? And please stop these 5 crore, 10 crore flyers of yours. And I want to like bring that change in the market where there's more education. So they are, to answer your question, yes, they're going to be IPs, they're going to be lifestyle products. And just to tell you that FeltRight is customizing a pro league poker table, which is more like in a 3D render right now, which we'll be posting on the website, because I play poker live, and I want a certain features when I'm sitting on my table. I want my USB connector on my seat. I want like a drawer where I can put my car keys and my wallets, like extra comfort zone, you know.
Feel at
And
home. Yeah. Yeah.
so we went to the T, like even like a poker felt that we're using on the poker table is sprayed by nanotechnology so that you spill a drink on the table.
It will not.
Yeah, so like we're trying to elevate the luxury aspect of the game and trying to create a better experience. It's all about experience. If there's no experience in poker, the player is going to have a rough time.
Yeah, so what I really felt is that you're actually looking into the minute details of how to improve experience, and not only we apne jo ye example diya table ka, even with the player approach, there's so much. These points are so relevant, like jo bhi baatein hui, it's I think it's very relevant to the industry. And
Yes, sir.
thanks, man. Like the whole, I would love to actually get your guidance also, quite a few things, man, on the entire your poker guy community I'm building it.
You have my time. एक सोचने वाली बात है, like when I started playing cricket at a very early age. So moving from a Kashmir willow bat to an English willow bat, that was the investment where I wanted to enhance my game. Why not with poker also, boss? Why not with poker?
एब्सोल्युटली एब्सोल्युटली सब क्रिकेटर्स को वो बात समझ में आ जाएगी. दिस वाज अ परफेक्ट एग्जांपल. सो बैंग ऑन. थैंक यू सो मच मिहिर. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर टेकिंग टाइम आउट, मैन. थैंक यू सो मच.
Pleasure's mine, bro.
ओके, थैंक यू.
Peace out. All the best.
थैंक यू.